Welcome to our podcast. I'm Iris from the Hair Chapel in Brisbane. We know hair, we understand business, and we drink wine.
My name's Meg, owner of Era Hair in Brisbane also. We're here to have fun. We're here to laugh about the sad truth and reality of running business, running our chaotic lives and making it all work.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Hello and welcome to another episode. Now we've got an amazing guest who just got off a flight and straight away came to the studio for an amazing podcast, and her name is Corrie. She has a beautiful salon in Sydney, New South Wales, and she's also a neck educator. We met a while back and we instantly connected, and the reason I think we connected so well is because I think she's as crazy and as passionate about hair as I am. So it definitely was a right fit, and now she's here on our podcast. Now, hi Corrie, how are you doing after this flight?
Good, Iris, of course. Delay, but we're used to that. But really good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're more than welcome. Now, tell me a little bit about your salon that you have.
So I've been in business now 26 years. I run a salon with 12 staff. I work on the floor still 2 days a week. So, pretty much it.
And so over that whole time, you've obviously had loads of apprentices. You said earlier to me, you have trained 30 apprentices. And we really want to talk today about the problem that we have in the industry when it comes to education for our apprentices and the lack thereof. You being so passionate and you being so good in your education, the knowledge that you have about hair is incredible. And obviously you want to pass that on. But what do you find is one of the challenges that you have with apprentices over that period of time that you've had teaching them?
Yeah, so I think probably like when you started your apprenticeship, training was just something that was a must. Mm-hmm. We had to stay back no matter what. We had to attend whatever it was. Whereas now it's more in salon time, and it's paid time, which is another thing. But a lot of people don't want to stay back. The apprentices don't want to do that. But I've been very lucky. I've actually had a lot of good apprentices in that time. And I think they either have that passion to be a hairdresser, otherwise I think their parents force them to do hairdressing, and it's something they shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, I cannot agree more. I think it's such I've talked about this in other podcasts, that a lot of people go into hairdressing because it's like almost a last resort of something, and therefore they think, oh, you need to do something hands-on because you can't do something because you're not necessarily, I'm not saying clever enough, but you don't get the grades in school. But what they don't understand is how much science and how much maths is actually involved in the profession. And then on top of that, you have to have people skills and you have to be creative. So you have to have everything. And if you haven't got not all of it, you're going to be lacking in the industry.
Yeah. And especially I think the young ones, you've got to have the confidence to talk to someone else.
Yeah.
That does come for most of the apprentices. You see them grow and all of a sudden they're talking to a client. But definitely going back to even the science and the maths, even that we have to mix a colour and it's grams, and they're like, it's 1 part colour and 2 parts activator. How much is that? It's just, you don't realise it isn't that easy.
It is not that easy. And then you, like you say, 1 part, 2 part, or you do 1 quarter plus 2 quarters, and then they're completely confused. And then the other day I was mixing milligrams, and from milligrams I've gone into grams, and they say, oh, you've gone to grams. I said, it's the same. And the surprise on them, or people not being able to read the time.
Yes.
When you have to say, oh, you need to leave that on for 20 minutes, and they're like, oh, when is that on the clock? And you're like, oh my God, I have to now teach you how to read the clock as well, right? So all things that comes on top of us doing the job of training them, whilst we have to pay them, and I think that is a problem.
Yes. And I think too, the training now is only, 2 to 3 years, whereas it used to be 4 years. And you did need that 4 years to learn. Like I remember the science part was really, really hard. And that was probably like a whole, I reckon, 2 semesters we used to learn about the science of hair, because people don't realise you're not just putting a colour on.
No, that's correct. We have we get a lot of apprentices who are in their third year who want to come and work with us, and we want to rescue everybody, but we can't. We just simply can't. And we just hired somebody who's in their third year who was going to qualify in July, and she had no idea about. She didn't even know what pH balance was scale was this week, and I'm like absolutely perplexed that they don't understand. And when I was sat down with them and explained them what color molecules are and how they get into the hair and how they swell up for a permanent color, they said, oh my God, nobody has ever explained it to me like that. That's so, I now understand it. But if that person wouldn't have come to me in their third year, they would never have qualified, understanding why they do what they do.
Yes.
Shocking. Absolutely shocking. So, but one of the things as well is, you know, the hard truth for salon owners is that we have to train them so hard. We have to do it all because a lot of times the institutions that they go to, the teachers in college are failed hairdressers. They can't educate themselves. So we are on the floor, we're running a business, plus we're educating ourselves, and then we get burned out. We can't do it all. Surely, how do you set up your education in your salon?
So, as you know, there's a fair few of us in the salon, but I always give the calendar, like so as you know, I work for NAC, which you've mentioned. So I've been educating for them for 14 years. And beginning of the year, we get the calendar out and I say to the girls, right, what workshop do you want to attend? And I book them all in and that's done. And then after that, we sit down and we work out what each staff member wants to learn next, because I want them to be able to do everything in the salon. And it's interesting what they think they know and they don't know. But I also give them all the modules. Like there's so many online things you can learn about colour, because at TAFE, TAFE's great, but you don't learn it that much there.
No.
And it's not the same as being on the floor and knowing exactly what you're doing in a real life situation with a client on, knowing about the colour, knowing what to do next.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got a similar approach. And I think successful salons who train their apprentices successful are the ones who actually in the beginning of the year set it out. We have every Wednesday from 2 till 5 haircutting training. It's just any haircutting training, because there is not enough training on that. And you mentioned it just now that you want your apprentices to be able to do everything. So do we. Yeah. We want them to do a short sausage blow dry as much as a beautiful balayage. And I think there's a lot of salons out there for the moment who are only specialized in one thing, and they leave their apprenticeship only knowing how to do long hair. And I think it's really not good from a salon perspective that we don't teach our apprentices everything across the board. So it's very important to make sure you sit down, you do that training, you get them into the programs, and there's so much online available. But talk to your brand. Like you guys have a lot of available. NAC has got a lot available online education. It's a no-brainer, isn't it? So we talked about it earlier on the foundation of hair. How do you go about teaching that real foundation? Who is teaching that? Because when my apprentices go to college, they know more than the teacher. I think that's a problem.
Yeah. Well, I think, as you said, your brand should definitely have these sort of things for you to use, because, the online sessions, for one thing, they go through the stages of all the different colouring, different processes. But even just, do some things in the salon. It might be whether you're testing it on a piece of real hair, or it could be on the doll head. All those things will only help them to learn and see what happens and what results you get. For instance, if we have a client come in and they want a colour correction, I actually do cut a piece of their hair off, because I think it's great for my staff also to see what's going to happen, because no matter what they tell you, there's always a little bit of a lie in there, or sometimes a big lie.
Yeah, as we've all seen in things when they go wrong.
Yeah, and you see from that what can happen to hair. It's truly amazing what sometimes you're like shocked it works out good, and other times think this is what can happen and you'd hate this to be on the head. So So,
Yeah, definitely. We do a lot of strand tests as well, and it's so reassuring as well. And then, like you say, 99% out of the time they've done something wrong with their hair, and or not wrong, they haven't told you the complete truth about it. None of this would be possible with our amazing sponsors, NAC.
And either would great hair.
Do you want to be part of a great hair care range, education team, and community? Go to their website, nachair.com.au. Do you think you need to educate them as well on retail, on rebooking, and how does that go with your education of your staff?
Yes, definitely. So I think I'm a motivator and I'm a teacher, but I also need motivating, and I'm also always happy to learn. I don't think you never know enough. So I've actually at the moment got a salon coach who's doing a lot of consultation and retail training with my staff at the moment, and it actually brought me back to thinking about it myself.
Yes.
You forget.
Yes.
And you forget how much you know.
Yeah.
And my saying is you go to a doctor and you get a script. So what do you do with that script?
Yes.
You go and fill it.
Yeah.
We know so much about hair. You can't do your hair without the products you use. So how does the client know?
Yeah.
And I just think even the rebooking, coming back to that stage of rebooking, we do some like incentives on rebookings, and that's been great as well because it's making them to remember to rebook. And the clients do forget to do that.
Absolutely.
So
I totally agree. Like you said, we have a coach, like we've had a coach as well. Well, we've had many coaches. We had the salon doctor in not so long ago, and we did exactly that. And I don't think we've said it on with coaches that I've had on the podcast as well. Coaches need coaches. Like you're a coach because you train your apprentices, and you need to be held accountable. Yeah. We hold our staff accountable, but who holds us accountable? And it doesn't matter. There's courses out there that I've done over and over and over again because you constantly have to be informed. It's not that you don't know. It's just that you get comfortable. You get comfortable, and when you get comfortable, you just forget about bits and bobs. And you just need to bring that coach back in to make you back accountable to yourself and then your team. And then when they say it, you think, of course, that's what it is. I know that. Of course, you already know. Yeah. But you just became comfortable, and you just need to retrain that. Now, you also said about incentives. I love that. So tell me about the incentives that you guys do with your team.
So we do a fair few different incentives, but just some extra fun ones we've done is we have like whoever sells 10 products gets to choose an envelope. And I have this board with all these envelopes, and there's prizes, and they choose it, and there's things from a $50 Visa card, a nail voucher, a box of chocolates, and even 3 hours off in paid time off, or a blow dry in salon, just random things. That is usually our busiest month. Yeah.
I love it. I'm so taking that. And this is it. We have obviously a commission structure and all that sort of stuff, but it's hard as a salon owner to constantly keep your staff motivated. Do you find, and I don't know if you've seen it around, when you look on Facebook as well, that there is a lot of posts these days about salon owners that say, I can't get my staff motivated anymore. I think there is a lot more to it this day and age to keep your staff motivated or to motivate them. Do you feel that has changed over the years?
Yeah, well, I think I like to be motivated as well, but I think the motivation is different for different people.
Yeah.
So some staff like maybe a money motivation might be the time off.
Yeah.
I think you really have to talk to your staff and see what they like, because it does make your salon better if you do have something in place like this.
Yeah.
Because it does get boring day-to-day life.
Yeah.
I renovate the salon every 3 years because you're in there all the time, and it makes it exciting, and you want them to be happy to come to work.
Absolutely. No, I can't agree more. And I think we do the same. Every year in the beginning of the year, I have questionnaires, and we have meetings, and we do all that sort of stuff. So I know what you want out of that year and what is going to motivate you. Because if I don't know what will motivate you, how can I incentivize you? How can I motivate you? And I think there's a lot of salon owners out there, again, that do not take the time to listen to their staff, and they are carrying and propping up their staff, but the staff are not in it for the right reasons because they're not getting back what they want to get out of it. And I think that is a real it's exhausting. We know, you know, being a salon owner, you need to be on top of that all the time. And you need to take that time back away from the chair in order to do that. How many days or do you work on clients on the chair, in the salon?
Yeah, so I'm 21 hours a week, but 2 days in the salon. I do love doing hair.
Yes, so
I know that people say, oh, you know, you should just step back and not work in your business, like work on your business, not in it. We're hairdressers.
Yes.
Why did you choose this job?
Exactly.
You know, I'm 36 years hairdressing and I still love it. I didn't choose to be a hairdresser to be a business owner.
Yeah.
I just got thrown in that way because I had such bad bosses for 9 years. So I just feel like you really have to step back though, because I feel like I was actually like a lot of these people working full time, too many hours, and I wasn't seeing what was happening in my business. And when I did step back, actually one of my my BDM back then, Dana, she said to me, Corey, you've got to step back and look at your business. She said, because you've got an amazing business, but you're missing out on seeing what's happening. The best thing I ever did was that. So then once you step back, if you think you want to go back and do it back full time, that's fine, but have someone there doing the things that you can't do, the managing, you know, just running the salon for you, because there's so much things to do, you know, and you can't see it unless you step back and look at it first.
I totally agree. I think I was so passionate like you, being on the floor and loving what you do, but when you look at it, you have to go, oh my God, I need to step back. I love what I'm doing. And then once I started to step back and really get that structure in, get that foundation in, you all of a sudden, it relaxes you a little bit because you see the things that work, things that don't work, and you build on that. And then obviously after so many years, you have progressed, you have failed, you know what works, you know what don't work. We've been there, right? Yeah. And then you create a very good, sustainable business. But if you can't be a jack of all trades, or you become, like you say, a master of none, it is just very, very simple. So you have got systems in place for everything? Yeah, so we do as well. Love our systems, and then that is the thing that will eventually give you freedom. If you don't have the systems in place, then you're just chasing, and you can't even take a breath. And then, like you say,
and going back to being on the floor too much and not seeing what's happening. Not just that, like with you, Iris, you mentioned that you'd hurt your shoulder, and so you couldn't work. Couldn't work. If you hadn't have stepped back a bit and worked on your team, what would have happened? Exactly right. Yeah. And that's the sort of stuff. Now I can really step back and go, oh yeah, I haven't got to stress. And then, like, I've got some news for you as well. After this, I'm going to see the doctor because you know, I have to have a full hysterectomy, so I have to be off for 6 to 8 weeks. Now, I'm not even stressed about that. I'm like, bring it on, you know, forced rest. Yeah. It is weird that you think about that, bring it on, because, you know, I can now take the time to relax because I have my salon manager, I have my front of house, I've got my apprentice team leader, you know, we've got the social media sorted. So I know now, because we've put in the hard work, we don't have to stress about it. But it's taken me a long time to get here. I think people as well, they see us and think, oh, you know, you're so lucky, you know, you're just able to run a business and everyone's good and everyone's nice. It's like, it's tough. If we never have a break. Like the only break we get is the Easter long weekend because we're shut.
I totally agree. We've just moved salons and we've been since Christmas, all the way up to Christmas, and then over Christmas decorating in the salon. And we moved in 2 weeks ago, and I was literally on the phone to you yesterday. Yesterday, we finally finished cleaning the old salon because I've got to give the key back tomorrow. And it's been non-stop. Yeah, we have a great place. But I think this is what happened, I think. Before COVID, we always, you know, used to chase our tail. And then COVID happened. And then we had this, all of a sudden, the growth of the life-work balance, right? And everybody was selling the story of life-work balance. And now, all of a sudden, that's fallen away again. I think that worked because people had a lot of money to spend whenever, however, whatever. But now people are starting to look at what the value is for hairdressing again. And if you have grown your business in a boom and you are now not prepared to put in the work, and I don't know if you can see it where you're from, but where we can see a lot of medium or smaller hairdressers closing down because they just can't sustain, because they've really based their business on that work-life balance instead of hard yucca like you and me, and failing and having to wake up in the morning crying because you don't know how you're going to go through the day, but you freaking have to. You been there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go on, tell us a story about that.
No, I it's like anything, there's so many stories but I did go away for 8 weeks for NAC to America.
Love it.
So my salon ran without me. So I was very thankful, very good team. And so I wasn't even in the country.
Yeah, but that's because you put in the hard work. And this is it. You can't get there without putting in the hard work.
No.
So then apprentices as well. What would be red flags with apprentices?
I think these days, like, I don't know what you think, Iris, but we have about 70% of home salons and renter chairs.
Yes.
So the biggest problem is that they won't be putting apprentices on. And it's actually quite sad. This year has been the most apprentices that I've ever had ring me for jobs, and even actually seniors are ringing me. In the last 2 weeks, I've had 5 people reach out for a job.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. About maybe 5 years ago, I couldn't get an apprentice. So I had to get things to fill in for an apprentice, the foil machine, the disposable towels, dishwasher, like all the things to help, because we just couldn't do it. But I think with apprentices, I think they start off and then they don't know that it's different. Like, they've got their mobile phone, it's in their hand, it's their lifeline. You have to evolve as a business owner and realise that, yes, when we started a business, you didn't touch a phone.
No.
I had the phones put into the kitchen where we all work because they're in their lockers and they're always at the back. That's a part of their life. They check it, they constantly check it, but that's just what life is now.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a completely different world.
Probably you and I do as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do. Like, I'm checking my emails. It might not be the social media part of it, but it's emails.
Yeah.
So I think even for apprentices, you've got to give them time to learn and to be what you want. I think you really know within a few months. I think they probably choose within a few months as well.
Yes.
Whether they want to do that job.
Yeah, I agree. And I think in the future we're going to have a problem with that, with all the people working from home and being independent. And I think the only reason they can do that is because we come out of the era that we come from, and they want to be independent. But I think the problem with that is if we haven't got enough apprentices filling that, all that will eventually disappear, because we won't have enough people good enough to be able to go out on their own and sustain their own businesses, their own micro business. And that is one of the reasons, and I'm convinced that's the reason a lot of people are getting back into the industry, because they've now been out, 2-3 years, went out on their own. And in the beginning, they were taking good money. They're like, oh, look, I can make so much money. Yes, you can. But are you paying yourself super? Are you paying yourself holiday? Where do you get your money from when you're sick? Are you putting that away every week? And I think then the tax bill comes in, and now all of a sudden you're registered for GST and you have to pay your GST. And now you all of a sudden go, damn, I haven't been educated for the last few years because I can't afford it now. And I think a lot of people are starting to think, damn.
I have I'm all for rented chairs and home
absolutely,
salons.
absolutely.
I do it if that could be something that I might have done, but I actually am worried about the next generation of hairdressers, because I don't think there'll be that many.
Yeah.
That's my worry, is that we're going to have really good hairdressers, and then we're going to have people that are probably not really trained or not even trained. Have
you heard the rumours that are going around about the fact that they want to abolish the apprenticeship altogether? What's your thought on that?
Well, as you said, talking about the science, there's chemicals involved.
It just baffles me that a person in Canberra can make a decision when they have not got a clue about the science and what we need to learn about hairdressing. And can you just imagine? hey, bring it on, I say, because at the end of the day, this is where you're really going to differentiate between a good salon and a not so good salon, or a bad salon, right? And they're going to have to come to us. I do believe that there is a big shift happening in hairdressing, where the hairdressing, the top is going to be the top and the bottom is going to be the bottom. And the middle, there's the competition for the moment is fierce in that middle. And I think a lot of hairdressers have to make the decision whether they go faster and cheaper or more luxurious, more towards the end, high end.
Well, I think a lot of salons have actually closed, as you said. I think they're like struggling to survive. I know that even, you know, in the last January, we were open for 20 days of January and we got 30 new clients. That's a lot.
Yes.
Like, whereas last year it was a really weird year because probably like you, people dragged out their hair. So we had some really like weird gaps because they might have gone from 6 weeks to 8 weeks, 8 weeks to 10 weeks. And what that did, I think a lot of salons that already had maybe financial issues couldn't keep going.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where now these new clients are coming from because of that, which is really sad because, you know, we are great, like hairdressing's great and we're just not, you know, people do need to get their hair done, but there's all the other financial things that they sometimes put first.
Yeah.
You know.
And
they still come, but just
100%.
You know, dragging it out.
Dragging it out, which means then you need to fill in that gap.
Yeah.
Those gaps. You do need a lot more clients to fill those spots. Now, how do you get new clients in your case, in your salon? What do you do?
Do you want to run your salon with confidence?
Then you have to come to me. I run an 8-week program from booked out boss to fired up salon owner. Go to my website, saloncoachingbiz.com, and you can book a complimentary, no obligation consultation with myself for a business analysis.
Well, we definitely big on social media.
Yeah.
I actually 2 of my staff, part of their hours are running the social media.
Love it.
And they're doing a really good job. But we do try and do a lot of reels and things like that. I know it's weird, but
I've seen
people
a few.
like that.
Yes, they do.
But as mostly word of mouth is one of our biggest things. And we have gifts for clients when they've recommended someone.
Yeah.
I just think that's your biggest one is what's out there now and the clients you do have.
Yeah, and I've seen your salon as well. You've got that separate room for your... Tell us about the separate room. It's a little bit lush.
Well, I've actually had that now in 3 salons. I've done the separate room. But I just think that's the bit that everyone wants to relax is when you get your hair washed.
Absolutely.
And if you're amongst the blow drying and the chatter, because it gets loud in our salon.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we can have 9 or 10 hairdressers in there at once. And that separate wash lounge is both doors shut. We have soft music and massage chairs. I think that's just the experience that these are the things we're talking about. You have to have a little bit extra and it's your brand.
Yes.
You know, and that's, if you talk to a client, their favourite bit is the head washing.
Absolutely. And this is one, I think, of the problems that we have. The client most thing that they want the most from coming to the hairdresser is the shampoo and the massage, and we give it to our least experienced staff. That is why it is so important to train your staff really, really good on that first initial bit where where they connect with the apprentice, because that's the first thing we give them to. And it's so scary, I think, the amount of salon owners do not properly train throughout the whole salon, that it's universal, so it doesn't matter. Because we've had in the past, and I bet you know exactly what I'm talking about, where we've had staff or apprentices who we've had to get rid of because they just didn't do the shampoos on the level that we wanted them to. And then they start to say, oh, no, I don't want them to shampoo. I want so-and-so to shampoo. But so-and-so, I can't afford to take her away for 15 minutes to give you that luxurious massage because she's costing me a hell of a lot more money than what my apprentice is costing. And my apprentice is going, yeah, happy days. I don't have to shampoo. And I think if that is an attitude that you have or a problem that you have in your salon, you've got one or two ways. Get rid of the apprentice, or they need to step up in order for them to be requested for the shampoo.
Yeah, and I think to me the shampooing is actually the beginning of it all.
I know.
Like, if you can't do that, then you've probably got no hope of being a very good
hairdresser. Oh my God, I know. And have you found that you get senior staff as well that are incompetent of doing the job during the period where you could find no senior staff? Did you hire anybody who you had to say, no, I've got to let you go?
I'm very lucky. All of my staff have trained through me.
Ah, very, very good. Yeah.
So, except for one, but I have had them come through, and I'm very, very lucky. But I think that's because I've always wanted it to be my way.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and if you come to my salon, whoever you get, it'll be the same.
Yeah.
You can have 3 people working your hair and you won't be able to tell if
Yeah.
it's something different.
Love that. Universal. And do you know what? If that staff member then leaves, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because they come for the salon. Love
Yeah.
that. That is how you grow a brand. Have you got any idea about opening a second salon?
I've done that.
Oh,
Before.
Okay.
Yeah.
So give me some advice. Should I or should I not?
It's the problem you have is staff, as you know, and if you've got the time to be available for both, that's okay. When I did it, I was pregnant with my second child.
Okay.
And yeah, I just think it wasn't the right time. But it's also, I think, even as you said, people are struggling with staff, finding staff at the moment. So whether if you have time to be available to help out if someone's sick or, be that person, yes. And I do believe if you've got a brand, you can build it.
Correct.
And if I was probably going back, if I didn't work for NAC, maybe that's what I would have done again. I've thought about it a lot of times about doing it again because I do have my brand and I believe in what I do and I know it works.
Yeah.
I tell people save the good times for the bad times. And whenever, as you're saying, we go up and down with what's happened. And I always think that things happen for a reason.
I agree with you.
I just believe that.
Yeah.
And I think there's, you get really bad, things happen and you think, I think there's a reason for this.
Yeah.
And I will get through it and I'll come out the other end. And it does, because you go through stages where you might lose a few staff in one go.
Yes.
And most of the time the staff maybe change jobs, they have babies, or maybe they're just not meant to be with you.
Exactly.
But we don't own them.
No, we don't.
No.
I've said that so many times. And I think so many people think that, they ownership of that man. No, they're not. They're free to go whenever, however, whatever they want to do.
And look after your staff.
Yes.
That's one thing.
Look after
I was
yourself.
never looked after in all went through, I think it was 8 jobs in 9 years. And okay, now I've had a salon for 26 years and I've worked for NAC for 14. Do you think it's because of me?
Yes.
No, do you think I'm the problem?
But no,
because
but
I
you
wouldn't
got
be still with these two things for so long. I was treated so badly.
Yes.
And that made me a better boss.
Exactly. And this is, I think, one of the problems, because there's a lot of salon owners that go out there who say, I can do it better, but then actually revert to being a bad boss because it goes to their head and they become, it's their ego taking over instead of their passion of hairdressing and education. Now, have you got any advice for any apprentices out there?
If you want to do it, believe it. I believe that also hairdressing's so much better now. I think when you can make more money, how can I say
Correct,
it? We are
yes.
we're more important than ever before.
Absolutely.
I feel like if only this had happened years ago, the money, the wages that I've got over all these years, and finally COVID did this for us. If you want to do it because you're not just a hairdresser.
No, absolutely.
You become like your clients, like some of your clients, my clients I've had for 30 odd years. They're your friends and you have that, what we get to touch people and talk to people and have fun in our job. So many people don't do that.
Yeah.
They're not happy with their job and they're not enjoying their job. Ours is amazing. We do so many different things, see people. We could write 1 million books.
Yep.
The vault is full, but definitely if it's something you want to do, try it. If you're not sure, do work experience.
Yes.
That's how my new apprentice, she did work experience with me. The one before that, work experience with me. I think it's the best way to see if you like doing it.
Yes. And like you say, the passion, you got to be passionate about it.
You have to like hair. You have to like touching hair.
And like people. You have to like people, because if you don't like people, I think definitely you're in the wrong job.
All right. And talking.
Yes, well, that's pretty easy for us, let's face it. So we're going to call it a day because you've got a lot of work ahead at NAC. We're going to drive you to NAC right now. And thank you for coming on our podcast. And then I'll be seeing you again in Sydney for the beautiful NAC event. Thank you for coming.
Thanks, Iris. This was great coming and seeing you and talking.
Yes.
All hair stuff.
Thank you for listening and watching to our podcast. If you like what you see, give us a thumbs up. Follow us. Any questions? Give us them too. See you later. Bye.
Bye.